table. Ta-da! And hopefully now there's audio. Sorry about that. I had lots of time before the show. Like, I was early. I was just sitting here staring at the wall. I could have plugged that in. I missed one plug. You can't trust, you can't get good help these days, guys. You just can't. All right. Also, we're going to look forward to taking your calls. Number to join us on the program today, 888-250-2091. That's 888-250-2091. That's the number to join us on the program. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. All you have to do is be a part of the program in some way, shape, or form, and you're in the running. All right, so I mentioned, for those of you on Facebook, you didn't hear anything that I said so far. So what we talked about was what was going to happen on the program today. I mentioned the holiday special laptop, desktop. We're running out, yada, yada. You get the idea. But one of the things that I really want to make sure we drive home, when you are out shopping for computers, whether you're shopping at Schrock or you're shopping online at Dell or HP, or you're at the Mart or Best Buy or wherever you're going to buy computers. Of course, we would always prefer you to come to Schrock to buy your computers. Okay, of course. But we know that some people are going to go other places for various reasons. In-store credits, promotions, sales. Maybe there's a feature on a laptop that you really want to have that maybe we don't offer at Schrock. Well, we can custom order anything you want, but that's beside the point. People are going to buy computers where they want to buy computers, and we service all of them. So no matter where you bought your computer, you can bring it into Schrock. And this is really important because what we are seeing in our industry right now, there's one computer repair shop in town that is just closed. They just shut down. We're trying to get a hold of them to find out what happened because they were a very, very respected local competitor. They're one of the few places in town that was doing everything right. Like, you would go in there and get your computer fixed because we shop our competitors. We send undercover people into our competitors with computers that are purposely broken to see, sometimes in multiple ways, to see does this repair shop actually find all the stuff that's broken? What are they charging? What is their model? How does their business work? We want to look at what our competitors are doing because you can't have all the good ideas, right? And if somebody else has a great idea, I am not below borrowing. So, so we send people into the shops, and this one shop that we send everybody into, I mean, it was great. The service was great. The product was great. We got a postcard afterward thanking us for our business in the mail, like a physical postcard. And this was only like 4 years ago. So, I mean, it was still in the digital era. It was just phenomenal. And that business is now gone. And so we know that they had a following. We know they have lots of people because they're coming in, especially into the Omaha Service Center, coming in saying, well, now that Friendly's gone, we don't have anywhere to go. So, I guess we're going to go to you. And I guess, I'm okay being, second banana. You can't win them all, right? So that was interesting. Then, we have another competitor near the Omaha Service Center that in Elkhorn, actually, that is now corporate only. They'll still service their existing clients if they walk in the door. But, when it comes to the unwashed masses, those deplorable people, we don't want them in here. We just want businesses. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek, guys, but a lot of computer repair shops are looking toward corporations, corporate contracts, because they pay huge money. They're paying, $3,000, $4,000 a month to cover 10 computers or less. There's all kinds of upsell opportunity. They once everything is running, they typically have a low call volume, and when they do have a call volume, the calls are repetitive. They're the same problem over and over and over again. Makes it very easy to service, as opposed to consumers that are using, an assortment of different hardware, an assortment of different software, infinite combinations between the two, and they all interact with each other differently. So every time a consumer comes into you and says, my computer is slow, there's a million reasons that could be happening. When your business that has 10 computers and all 10 computers comes in and says computer number 8 is running slow, you know exactly, they're all doing the same thing. You know what all the software is. You know if that one computer is slow, you can narrow it down to just a couple possibilities and fix it quick. And you get paid really, really well to fix it, so you don't mind being around to do that. That's where a lot of, it's called managed services, and that's where a lot of computer repair shops are going. There are entire magazines about how to change your computer repair business into a managed service business. Schrock was built to service consumers. Schrock was built to be a service company. In fact, we have a corporate services division where we take the systems that we use for our consumers and we bend them and mold them to make them work for businesses. One of the biggest things we're going to be doing in 2023 is a complete overhaul of our corporate services division to create new tools that are exclusive to businesses, because businesses' needs are different than consumers. So yes, we don't want to ignore that managed service provider aspect of our business, but we're not going anywhere. We're going to be there for our consumer customers, the people who built us, the people who made us what we are today. We're going to continue serving those people going forward until they have no more need for our services, if you know what I mean. Customer for life. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, what is the right way to use your external hard drive? We're going to tell you coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation, the modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute This Pro Tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Opened drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is still Thor Schrock, and as of this moment, I am still the owner, and forever will be the owner, of Schrock Innovations Computer Company. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll put you in the drawing, and you can win $25 toward anything your heart desires at the Service Center. All right, so one of the things that I really wanted to talk about today, and those of you on Facebook, I apologize. The audio was messed up in the first segment, so you didn't hear the explanation, the backstory of where this segment came from. But in short, we had a customer in the data recovery lab who bought an external hard drive from Schrock, one of ours, and then physically broke it. It was physically broken, like the heads crashed. And so The recovery cost on that is extreme because you have to take it in the clean room. You need parts. Any of you who have been through that know that, if you send that off to Drive Savers in California, it's a $3,000, $2,600, $3,000 recovery. At Schrock, it's usually about a $1,600 recovery. At cost, we can do it around $1,200, which is what I offered for this customer who is understandably very upset that his data was lost. And the conversation did not go smoothly because, we're not cut out to be we're not cut out for phone calls where people are mad at us because it doesn't happen very often. And usually when it happens, it's because, the person on the other end of the line is a loon. In this case, the guy's not a loon. He's genuinely upset because his hard drive failed. Now, the question is, why did this happen? So, number one, any hard drive can fail, whether it's inside your computer, whether it's an external hard drive outside your computer. Drive Advisor is a free program that we make that you can run on your computer. It doesn't cost you a dime. There is no ads. There's no revenue model. You can install it on your computer, run it on your system, driveadvisor.com. Advisor, because it's made in America. Drive Advisor. But you can run Drive Advisor on your computer. It'll tell you if your hard drive is starting to show indications of failure, which is great for all those times your hard drive dies slowly. Now, sometimes when you have an external hard drive, things happen. And we understand that things happen like when the dog runs by, whips the drive with its tail and knocks it off the desk, and then it's bad. Well, that's we understand that was an impact that causes the heads to crash into the platters. So what a head crash means, those heads, imagine there's 3 records spinning on a record player, one on top of the other. Remember when they used to space them out and it would drop the record? Like when the next record was coming, it'd just drop it and you could play 3 records in a row. It was like the first disc changer, but it was for records. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like that, except that the records never move. There's arms that have these little electronic readers called heads on the end of the arm, like the needle on a record. And it goes back and forth and it floats on a cushion of air over the surface of these platters that spin at 7,200 rotations a minute. And they read these little magnetic charges. Very fragile, very sensitive things, never intended to be replaced, never intended to touch anything. They're magnetically charged to repel off the platters. So when you impact a hard drive that's spinning, the force, the kinetic force, causes the heads to bend down and touch the rotating platters that are rotating at 7,200 rotations a minute. When that happens, number one, the head gets damaged. It doesn't work right after that. Sometimes it works a little bit. Sometimes it works normally. Sometimes it's completely shot. Sometimes it makes such impact with those platters as they spin that it literally carves a ring in the platter all the way around. The platter will never read again. The data is not recoverable. It's literally been scraped off the surface of the drive. In this case, the drive presented with stuck heads. That means the drive was beeping. Drives don't have speakers, right? So the beeping sound that you hear in the drive is the spindle trying to spin those discs, but it's detecting resistance, like something is stopping you from spinning. It could be the heads. If I force the spin up, I'm just going to carve rings around all the platters, so I'm just going to beep, beep, beep. That's really what it sounds. See, I'm like a human hard drive. And it will prevent it from spinning. And that's what his was doing. So how does this happen? Everybody knows major impacts, dogs, cats, children, dropping it. Those are all things that can cause this to happen. But did you know pounding on the desk is enough to do it? Did you know that dropping your coffee cup on the desk is enough to do it? Did you know having one sitting up on its edge, like one of those Western Digital My Books, and then having it tip over on its side is enough to do it? Did you know that bass speakers are enough to do it? External hard drives are incredibly fragile pieces of equipment. Now, we can mitigate some of that by putting you into a solid state external hard drive, but they're more expensive. They cost more because they're solid state. They're microchips instead of spinning, rotating cheap disks. So what's the right way to use these things? We're going to take a quick break at the end of the bottom of the hour here, and then when we come back, I'm going to tell you the right way to use them and the wrong way to use them to keep yourself out of the data recovery lab and to make sure that you always have your data safe and backed up where you need it. Coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. Expect another interest rate hike from the Fed when they meet this week.
Last week, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said that after the last meeting in November, the board agreed ongoing rate increases will be appropriate.
The full effects of our rapid tightening so far are yet to be felt.
He said the time to moderate rate increases may come as soon as their December meeting, but that restoring price stability will require holding policy at a restrictive level for some time.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Caleb Williams, the sophomore quarterback from USC, is this year's winner of the Heisman Trophy.
Williams threw for 4,000 yards and 37 touchdowns this season. He is the 8th Trojan to win the Heisman.
While this may be an individual award, I certainly understand that nothing, and absolutely nothing, in the sport nor life is done alone.
Courtesy ESPN.
Fox's Bob Mortali. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Sunny today with light winds. We'll have a high around 45. Patchy fog early in the overnight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, a low of 31. On Monday, a 40% chance of rain, mainly afternoon. Breezy with a high of around 44. And then Tuesday, rain mainly before noon. Windy, and we'll have a high near 49. With your weather forecast, I'm Roger Olson.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. Halftime's over. Hope everybody got their potty breaks in, got their drinks refilled, get that coffee going, because it's time for the next half of Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Quick reminder, we are running low on holiday special laptops and desktops. As of right now, we are down to 33 desktops and 21 laptops. So, guys, we're getting down to the wire in sellout territory here. So, especially when we have customer or businesses come in, and basically corporations is the word I was looking for. Gosh, when we have corporations coming in saying, okay, I need 5, and then they buy 5, well, this number goes to 0 really quick. So if it's something you're thinking about doing, now is definitely the time to do it. We also have a full assortment of regular computers in the service center, the everything from the Boundless up to the Gallants and the laptops. Everything laptop, desktop is available and in stock in every Schrock Innovations location. 888-250-2091. So we've been talking a little bit about the right way to use your external hard drive. I've given you all the risks about how easy it is to crash one of these things. Now the next part of the question is, well, if they're so fragile, why even use them? Like, why should I even have an external hard drive? Why do people use them? Okay, number one, some people use them as backup drives. That is the intended, legitimate purpose for an external hard drive. That is the only legitimate purpose now anymore for an external hard drive. That's it. We'll get into the details in a second. Some people use them to augment their primary storage. So let's say you have an iMac and your iMac hard drive gets full because you're a photographer, and the Mac Pros are stupid expensive, so you just bought the iMac, which was still stupid expensive, but not stupid expensive. But the hard drive's full and you need more storage, so you hook up an external hard drive to the back of it, and voila, you've got more storage. Some people use them to store like a network drive to store all the family's stuff, all their important photos. We have people that will sit there and sort their photos onto an external hard drive, pull them off all their other devices, stick them on one external hard drive so they can keep them all organized in one place, which is a noble thought. Just don't do it on an external hard drive, because that's when they crash. And we have people that come in and say, I don't care what it costs, any price I will pay to get my data back. And 96% of the time we can get the data back. That means there's 4% of the time when the data is just literally unrecoverable. Like I said, it's been scored, or there's just something is wrong that we can't get the data back. And then those pictures are just gone, and there is nothing you can do about it. And we don't want you to be in that scenario. So here is what we recommend. Let's say you're that photographer with that iMac. This happens all the time. Did you know that in all but the most recent iMacs, because the brand new ones they're basically an iPad on a stick, we can increase the size of the hard drive in your iMac. So we can go in there, take the screen off, put a bigger hard drive in. So the right answer is to have a bigger hard drive inside the computer. The safest place to store your data is on the hard drive inside your computer, whether that's a laptop or a desktop or an iMac, doesn't matter. Inside the computer is the safest place. Then, where you have all that saved inside the computer and sorted into folders and backed up all the devices, suck it all into the computer, then you get one of these external hard drives and you set up a backup, like a Time Machine backup with Apple, or on PC, a file history backup. They do the same thing. You plug that into the back of the computer and you run the backup. And what it will do is it will create a copy of all of your important files. Therefore, you have it in two separate places. So unless both devices fail simultaneously, which doesn't happen very often, it happens, but not very often, then you're good to go. Now, let's say maybe you have one of these brand new iMacs, and when you bought it, you kind of cheaped out and you bought the 256 storage one, and then you realized you really needed like 2 terabytes of storage. And now what are you supposed to do? You have to use an external hard drive. Okay, that's fine. There's a number of ways we can do this. We can create, what we do for photographers a lot, especially home photographers, is we create just a cheap little PC server. Like, it's not even a server really. It's just it's a Boundless with 2 16 terabyte hard drives in it. And we set that up on your network. And that is now your main repository. That is your main hard drive. So whatever you're working on in that moment on your iMac, when you're done and you're ready to move it off to the archive because it's a completed project, you move it onto the server. The server has 2 big hard drives in it that back each other up. So that if one of the drive fails, you get an alert on Drive Advisor, one of your hard drives is failing, and then, hey, guess what? One of your hard drives is failing. That's okay. We've got the backup with Drive Advisor. We know what's going on. We can get it fixed, and then you're good to go again. The second thing is, if you have to use an external hard drive for primary storage, if that's literally the only option you have, financial constraints, space constraints, network constraints, whatever the case might be, have 2 of them. Have some kind of a system, a reminder on your phone even, is something just as rudimentary as a reminder on your phone. Do your backups. And make sure you copy everything that's on OneDrive to the other drive once a month, once a week, whatever's convenient for you, so that if you do end up losing one of those drives, you're only losing a short amount of data, a replaceable amount of data, if you know what I mean. Like, you can take more pictures of the kids in the same month. They're not going to grow that much. You can stage them even. Hey, it was Christmas, but the tree's still up, so go sit in front of the tree, kids. Here's some wrapping paper, some boxes. Let's do this. My daughter's special needs. She would be so confused by that. She's like, it's Christmas again? Like, yay. Why are all the boxes empty? This is not fun. She was so confused by that. Make for some interesting pictures, though, wouldn't it? But that's the right way to use an external hard drive. You use it as a backup hard drive. I should be able to take the external hard drive off of your desk and flush it down the toilet, and your only concern would be, is Thor going to give me a new external hard drive? If I did that to your external hard drive right now, what would you lose? What would be gone forever? That's what you risk every single day that you use an external hard drive as primary storage. That's why this customer in my service center in Omaha is so upset with us right now. Because he feels like, I bought this hard drive in September. It's a piece of equipment. It's supposed to work. Nobody told me how fragile they are. And I guess we don't sit down and explain how fragile now, you don't want to touch the contacts on your memory sticks because your electrostatic discharge, you can fry your memory chips. Why would I touch the contacts on my memory chip? I don't know why you would. Nobody ever told me I could get a solid state option. Well, of course you can get a solid state option. We can build you, it says on the box, we can build you anything you want. On the website, it says the drives sell from lowest price one is $100 up to $425. What kind of a hard drive are you putting into one of these things to make it worth $425? Well, it's a 4 terabyte external solid state hard drive. I mean, it's boss. It's fast. It's stable. You can bounce it off the wall and it's fine. So there are options that we can do if you're in an environment where you're going to have, if you have kids, that things are going to get bounced. We can fix that for you. But you should be set up so that you could take any external hard drive you have, throw it in the fireplace on Christmas Day, and aside from having to buy a new external hard drive, not have a care in the world, because it's just a backup. You have it somewhere else. You can copy it again. That's what we want you to do with your drives. And we're happy to help you do this at Schrock. A lot of computers, we can put internal hard drives in to do backups automatically, especially on your desktops, guys. We can build in hard drives into the desktop that will just do backups, and you don't even have to think about it. It's a beautiful system. It works really well. And then every time you come in for a maintenance checkup, we just double check that your backup is running as well. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. We're going to take a quick break here, guys. When we come back, there was a huge update this week for Google Chrome. I don't know if you guys heard about this. There's an update for Chrome that patched a high severity flaw that was being actively exploited. So if you have not patched your Google Chrome yet, I'm going to tell you why so many people came into the service center thinking they got hacked this week. Coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals.
Remember the good old days when virus detection worked like Where's Waldo? Spot the virus in the striped shirt and you win. Today's infections are changing hourly to avoid detection and use social engineering to trick you into making mistakes. Using yesterday's security to defend against today's threats is like using leeches to stop an infection. It just doesn't work. We recommend Sophos Intercept X antivirus backed by Schrock's virus-free guarantee. Sophos uses the power of AI to detect the patterns of a virus attack and responds with Schrock's custom actions that stop it fast. With Sophos on your PC, Mac, Android, or iOS device, you get the state-of-the-art protection you need to defend against the most advanced attacks out there. In fact, if your device gets a virus while running Sophos antivirus, Schrock will remove it for free, guaranteed. It hasn't happened yet, and we intend to keep it that way. Ditch your dad's antivirus and keep your device, data, and identities safe with Sophos and Schrock Innovations.
Compute this pro tip 178. Those little life-saving surge protector strips are vital to your computer's health and should be used whenever possible, even for laptops. As computers get smaller and more powerful, they're also becoming more sensitive to dirty power, and your power is a lot dirtier than you might think. Even if you have a whole home surge protection, most power surges are generated within your own home. If you've ever vacuumed and seen the lights get dimmer and brighter, you created a surge. Surge protectors can only absorb so much energy measured in joules. When that capacity is exhausted, your surge protector becomes a glorified extension cord and needs to be replaced. You should always look for surge protectors that give audible alerts when they're no longer able to protect your equipment. Schrock recommends these because the lights on most strips are just power lights and they don't tell you when it's time to replace the unit. If in doubt, replace your surge protectors annually to keep your expensive TVs, computers, and other electronic equipment safe. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, guys, thanks for joining us for the program today. I appreciate you hanging out with us for the hour. I want to remind everybody that after the show, we will be doing an After Schrock, which is a little show that we do afterwards that has everything in it that didn't fit during the regular program. I promise there will be audio, so that's always a plus. Just a quick heads up that today and next week will be the last Aftershocks of the year, because the show on Christmas will obviously be pre-recorded, and the show on New Year's Day will obviously be pre-recorded as well. So I will give you new content on those programs, but I won't be in the studio to do an Aftershock, so there won't be an Aftershock. The show on the 1st, I know you're going to be up late on New Year's Eve. You don't want to miss it. It will be available there, again, because it's a pre-recorded show, there is no video for the show. So it won't be on Facebook. It'll be at SchrockInnovations.com. So if you missed the show, that is the Thorstradamus show, where we go back and we dig up the predictions that Thorstradamus gave me a year ago, and we see if they actually came true. We're going to hold Thorstradamus's feet to the fire. Like, these are the predictions. Did they come true? If they did, wonderful. Okay, great. He is 100% accuracy going back years. The guy's never been wrong before. Has he been able to continue his streak? We don't know. We're going to find out on the 1st with the Thorstradamus show. Also, we will unveil Thorstradamus's predictions for the coming year as well. Again, 100% accuracy, so there could be some good stock tips in there. Who knows? Who knows what's in there? And of course, like all prophets, he speaks in riddles that can be interpreted in multiple ways to ensure that all the prophecies come true every time. Eventually. Someday. No, Thorstradamus he gives a timeline. It's 1 year. It's going to happen this year. And he's always right. 888-250-2091. Okay, so there was a big Chrome patch that came out this week. If you have Secure Updater, you don't have to worry about this because you already have the patch for your Google Chrome. This was an actively exploited security vulnerability that Google will not explain to anybody how it was being exploited, because they're worried if they explain how it was working that other script kiddies will decide to try to exploit it as well. A script kiddie is a kind of a hacker that isn't really good enough to make their own hacks. So they take other people's hacks and they modify them and then reuse them. Script kiddie. So the script kiddies are bad. We don't want to give them anything to work with. So Google won't tell us how this is working. But in essence, what was happening was, as you may or may not know, all modern browsers have built-in Java now. So you don't need that Java program installed on your computer anymore. In fact, we're about to remove it from Secure Updater because you really shouldn't have it installed anymore. The Java component inside Google Chrome had a flaw that could be manipulated. So an attacker could use a specially crafted website, a web page, to cause an error in the memory that Google Chrome was using that could then be exploited to allow it to run local code on your computer. If you have our Sophos antivirus, we had a lot of calls this week. You heard the spot that, if you get infected with anything and you're running Sophos, we'll remove it for free. It hasn't happened yet. It still hasn't happened, but we got a lot of calls this week. Sophos was going off it was blinking like a Christmas tree light because people would go to these specially crafted pages not knowing they were going to a specially crafted page. the Chrome memory buffer was getting overflowed, which of course you didn't know that was happening, which allowed bad guys to remotely execute code, which up to that point, Sophos is just chilling, sitting back, sipping a mochaccino, having a great life. And then all of a sudden somebody tries to run some malicious code and it says, whoa, hold my beer. Let's stop that from happening. And boom, upticks to 1 the number of web threats blocked by Sophos. Now, on your computer, you just saw some wackadoo stuff happen. Screens were flashing by, windows were opening and closing. I think somebody hacked my computer. I better call Schrock. So we literally, like yesterday, I had 3 people come in with their computers just coming cold off the street. Didn't even call. They're just like, hey, I want you to check it. It has Sophos. You guys will check it for free if it has Sophos. Of course we will. We know why it happened. You use Google Chrome, right? Yeah, we do. Okay. You have Secure Updater? No, we don't. And that's one of the things that I wanted to mention on the show today, guys. Number 1, if you have Secure Updater on your computer, it's a little shield down there by your clock. It's either going to be red, it's going to be green, or it's going to be black. I'm not talking about the one on your desktop, the one down in your taskbar by the clock. It might be in the hidden icons. You might have to look for it. Red, green, or black. If it is green, green is good. Everything is fine. Everything on your computer, up to date, updated, good to go. Red is bad. Red is there is something that needs an update, and for some reason that update can't happen. Typically, restarting your computer fixes this problem. Usually it's because we can't update Chrome because Chrome is open. You leave Chrome open all the time, so we can never update it. So therefore, when you restart your computer, nothing is open and everything updates and it's good to go. Black means you have either you're not logged into your account or you're more likely your subscription is expired. We don't see a lot of expired subscriptions. Usually when people get Secure Updater, they keep Secure Updater because it does such good work on your computer. One of the challenges that we sometimes have is customers come in and they want antivirus software, and we explain to them that Secure Updater works alongside your antivirus to keep everything up to date. We install a trial on your computer to get you up to date and current while it's in the service center, and it works for 2 weeks after that. And then it expires, and then you have to buy it. Secure Updater is $50 the first year and $30 each additional year to renew. It is not a huge investment. It's $30 a year, $29.99 per year. But yet people don't purchase it. They'll buy the antivirus. They understand the need for that, but they don't understand the need for Secure Updater. Secure Updater is the program that allows companies like Schrock, like what we do when we see, oh my gosh, there's a new version of Google out and it's a critical update that you need to have. Secure Updater is how we push that to our clients. Now, some of you are just hearing about this for the first time on the radio show. And I'm telling you, this Google Chrome story broke on December 5th. So you've been exposed from December 5th until today if you haven't updated your Chrome. If you have Secure Updater, you were updated on December 5th with a new version of Google Chrome that patched this. That's what Secure Updater does. That's why it's important. Now, alongside with that, there's another story we have here about Android smartphones having a vulnerability that we want to make sure we talk about. It's one of those vulnerabilities you can't do anything about right now. There is no patch for it, but I want to make you aware that there's a vulnerability that needs to be patched so that we can watch for the patch coming forward. But before we go there, Larry, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Yeah, hi, Thor. Thanks for taking my call.
No sweat.
I had a question about surge protection. They talk in your commercials sometimes how after it handles so much current, it becomes a glorified extension cord.
Correct.
Is that cumulative, or is that on a per surge
It's
basis?
cumulative. So basically, every time your surge protector absorbs a surge, think about it like a piece of armor plating. And every time somebody takes a chunk out of it, it's a little weaker than it was before. And eventually, somebody will get through if you don't reinforce that plating. Unfortunately, surge protectors don't regenerate. There's actually a filament inside that is absorbing the surges and routing them to the ground. And that's another important thing. If you don't have a grounded outlet, your surge protector is doing you absolutely no good at all. So don't even waste your money.
So it'll last forever.
As an extension cord, yeah. Because that's all it
Okay, yeah,
is.
you answered my question. Thank you very much, Thor.
No sweat, Larry. Have a great afternoon. 888-250-2091. So Google is warning right now that the Android patch gap is leaving smartphones vulnerable to attack. What is the patch gap? Okay, so let me explain to you how patches make their way to your cell phone. Now, if you have an Apple device, Apple makes a patch. Apple releases the patch to you. You get the patch on your phone. Your battery life is garbage for a couple days, and then everything goes back to normal. Apple patch. Android patch. Google makes Android, the operating system. Google finds a problem, patches the Android operating system, makes those patches available to the smartphone manufacturers like Samsung, LG, so on and so forth, Motorola, who then take that patch and integrate it with their own custom overlays that they've created for all your devices. And then they put it through their testing. Then the patch is released to you that comes in the form of a suggestion on your phone. There's a system software update for you to do. This update has been postponed until you tap on it and you run it. So whenever you see the message about there being a system software update, it's always a security update. Now, they may throw some extra stuff in there, but it's always a security update. Always install those. Never pass those up. That's general rule of thumb. Now, the patch gap is the amount of time between when Google fixes something and the manufacturers push the updates. Because you see, Samsung doesn't have a lot of vested interest in patching your Samsung Galaxy S7. What are they on? The S22 now? You're on the S7? Get with the program, man. Buy a new phone. I don't want to buy a new phone. This phone works fine. Well, we're not going to patch your phone anymore. Or if we do patch it, we're going to patch it slowly. And they think that's going to like motivate people to buy a phone. Most people don't even know your phone gets patches. Why would it motivate you to buy the new device? So there's a specific vulnerability right now in it's called the ARM Male GPU driver. So ARM is the architecture that your processor uses in your Android phone. Mali is the brand of the GPU, of the graphics processor, puts the picture on your screen. The driver is the software that puts the picture on the screen. So this is the driver for the graphics card that works with your ARM processor to put your picture on the screen. Follow the bouncing ball. There you go. This driver has a bug that is being actively exploited in the wild to force your smartphone to do things it's not intended to do. There is a patch that Google has made for this. They made it weeks ago. Your manufacturer, my manufacturer, I have a Samsung phone, is not pushing this patch because they just haven't gotten around to it yet. When you get a system, I've had 2 software updates on my Samsung phone this month. When you see those pop up on your phone, make sure you install them because they are critical updates that you do need to keep your device safe. Well, I would tell you to give me the list of people who called in to win, but it was just Larry. Let me draw. Today's winner. There's a paper here so I can make a rustling sound. There we go. Today's winner is Larry. Congratulations, Larry. You got yourself $25. Marissa will get that added to your Schrock account on Monday. Stay tuned, folks, at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations for the After Schrock. And we'll talk to you all next weekend for another edition of Compute This.
From the Amish Furniture of Nebraska studio, your home for made in the U.S.